Hey everybody, it's Brian Zane here with my review of the 2020 Royal Rumble. A lot of questions and uncertainty and certainly a lot of unpredictability surrounding who is going to be winning this year's Rumble matches. Probably some of the hardest ones to predict we've had in a while, I'd say, but we'll go to those matches a little later on. Let's begin with the opening match on the kickoff show as Sheamus returns to take on Shorty G. Poor camera crew with the white balance issues, all the natural light coming in before the sun sets. Shorty G gets worked over by Sheamus a lot here. His ear begins to bleed for some reason. Sheamus with a lot of finger work during the match. He says, "You're vermin, you're a disease." Shorty makes a big comeback with some ankle stomps and a tornado DDT. The crowd's pretty quiet for most of this one, but to be fair, a lot of them are still filing in. I love the bump G took on a reverse guillotine over the top rope by Sheamus. Multiple ankle lock attempts are powered out. Sheamus perseveres, hits the bro kick to win. I give it 2 stars out of 5. It's great to see Sheamus back in action. It was a serviceable match, did what it had to do, getting Sheamus over as a threat once again. And also Shorty G looked pretty good in defeat, so points to that as well. A couple of times in the matchup where I think the rhythm got kind of thrown off, felt a little clunky and stilted at times. But besides that, at least G had some good hope spots, looking good in defeat. Andrade defends the U.S. Championship against Humberto Carrillo. Of all the matches these guys have had over the last few months, this one to me felt like kind of their weakest of the bunch. Kind of a slower pace than what I was expecting for these guys. Andrade spends most of the match working over Humberto here, but he makes a big valiant comeback and things finally do speed up then. Big top rope Hurricane Rana by Humberto and a kick out. He goes for another one in the ring, but Andrade counters and pins to win. A surprisingly clean victory for Andrade here. Usually Zelina's the one who causes Andrade to eventually win, but she was really kind of a non-factor in this matchup. I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. Like I said, not my favorite match between these guys, but to their credit, it told a good story, and there were some good moments in the match with some high energy, but just not enough for my liking. The show officially begins with a Falls Count Anywhere matchup as Roman Reigns takes on King Corbin. The match begins with some sedan carriers getting beaten up by Roman. Your typical physical match between these guys. Corbin with the first real big strike, slamming Reigns through the Spanish announce table in the opening contest, no less. One question, has Michael Cole always referred to Roman's flak jacket as a battle vest? Seems very it's very a nice positive spin on that. He's wearing his battle vest. That's why he can't feel the knife edge chops. Into the crowd they go. Roman with some Samoan drops through some of the foreign language announce tables, which I believe prompts a USA chant from the crowd. I pop for the return of Neil's Workbox. We hadn't seen that show up since Payback 2017. Rudolph, that's Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. They show up, start beating up Reigns, but then the Usos even the odds. We're following these 4 guys for a very long time. It's clear some kind of misdirection play to allow Roman and Corbin to keep selling off camera. And we get some more brawling between these guys. One of the Usos dives onto all 3 of them. They'll get their shit in. We see the return of our 2 main characters here, fighting near the porta potties, and you know where this one's going to go, folks. Roman throws Corbin into the only porta-john on wheels and knocks it over, which gets a holy shit chant, very appropriate. But I can't believe that Corbin, he's in this porta potty and he's not covered in shit. I mean, what a lack of commitment there. It's a very unused porta potty. Maybe because it was on wheels and the people who were there, maybe they didn't want to feel uneasy trying to sit down to poop. The fighting moves forward on and around the dugout. Corbin goes for end of days, but Reigns fights out. Superman punch and a spear on the dugout. Reigns wins. I love the shot, the crane shot here of Reigns pinning him right there in the dugout there to end the matchup. I give it 3 stars out of 5. It was a match that started out pretty slow for me, and then things really ramp up. Kind of a typical Reigns matchup, I feel, where it does have that slow beginning, and then just the intensity lays into it. The Roode and Ziggler and Usos fight was kind of an interesting distraction. Seeing again the moment of Reigns beating Corbin on the dugout, to me, that was the bright spot of the whole match for me. Just a really cool shot, really cool moment. They really got to explore the space. Like some Falls Count Anywhere matches, they don't really get. I mean, this is a special case because the Rumble's at a baseball stadium, so they get to have some fun with it. If it's a typical basketball arena, you only have so many different things you can work with that are real environmentally based or context sensitive. So having that moment there on the dugout was a nice way to end it. Backstage, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe talk about the Rumble match. Elsewhere backstage, Fire and Desire interviewed, and Sonya says she will sacrifice herself for the good of Mandy if it comes down to the 2 of them. Mandy looks contemplative. They pay tribute to the late NBA legend Kobe Bryant, who tragically passed away earlier on Sunday in a helicopter crash, along with one of his daughters and everyone else on board the copter. Truly a tragic, shocking, just heartbreaking event to happen today, and really just, it's cutting deep with a lot of people around the world, especially, you know, basketball fans, Laker fans, what have you. And just, it's a really, again, a very tragic event. And so then we have to make that hard transition from the Kobe Memorial to the Women's Royal Rumble match. At number 1 is Alexa Bliss. At number 2 is Bianca Belair from NXT. Good to see her show up here. Number 3 is Mighty Molly, who looks like America's aunt. A big double cross body off the top rope there. At number 4, Nikki Cross and the former tag team champs, herself and Alexa, working together. At number 5 is Lana with a sweet custom Captain Marvel outfit. She talks trash on her way down the aisle and surprisingly is not taken out immediately. Number 6 is Mercedes Martinez. Number 7 is Liv Morgan. She checks Lana out of the ring. Lana then yanks Morgan out of the ring, so she's eliminated and they has fight. Number 8 is Mandy Rose. She and Nikki fight for a bit. That's kind of a feud on SmackDown that seems to never die. Number 9 is Candice LeRae, and Belair eliminates Mighty Molly. Mandy's almost taken out, but Otis materializes from out of nowhere for Mandy to fall on him to avoid an elimination. That was pretty funny. Number 10, Sonya Deville, and Fire and Desire eliminate Mercedes. At number 11, it's Kairi Sane. Number 12, Mia Yim. Bianca uses Alexa as a weapon to eliminate Nikki. Sonya hits Mandy on accident. She falls into Otis, but then Bianca eliminates Sonya, and she crashes into Mandy and Otis. They all go tumbling down. Number 13 is Dana Brooke. Bianca eliminates Candice LeRae, and she's doing very well for herself. Alexa takes out Kairi Sane. Number 14 is Tamina. She's taken out by Bianca as well. Number 15, Dakota Kai. Bliss eliminates Mia Yim. Number 16, Chelsea Green, who's accompanied by Robert Stone. She takes out Dakota Kai, but then Bliss takes Chelsea out right away. Bianca eliminates Dana, and after a valiant fight, Bianca eliminates Alexa as well. She is just tearing it up. Number 17 is Charlotte Flair. Number 18 is Naomi, the first time we've seen her in months. 19 is Beth Phoenix, back at it again. At number 20 is Toni Storm. Then Charlotte takes out Bianca Belair, totaling Bianca's number of eliminations to 8. So very good performance by her on this night. She actually breaks the record, and that was kind of sad, and don't worry, it's going to get more frustrating as the match goes on. Number 21 is Kelly Kelly. Why not? Number 22, Sarah Logan. Charlotte takes her out in short order, then she takes out Kelly Kelly. Number 23 is Natalya. Number 24, Xia Li from NXT. Number 25 is Zelina Vega. When did Beth's head start to bleed? At number 26, Shotzi Blackheart. Again, great seeing her in a big stage like this. Naomi avoids elimination for the time being. She spends a lot of time hanging out on the announce tables for the next several minutes. Number 27 is Carmella. Number 28, Tegan Knox. Number 29, Santina friggin' Marella. Really? Okay, I guess, I don't know. If you see my older videos, you know how I feel about Santina Marella. I was initially kind of like just peeved and pissed off about Santino showing up and being in this matchup. And then the interaction with him and Phoenix and Natalya was admittedly pretty funny, where he finds himself cornered, pulls out the Cobra, no one's buying it, then he gives himself the Cobra, eliminates himself. Like, it was hokey, it was silly, and I guess that was the kind of levity, like, it won me over ultimately, but when Santina first comes out, I'm like, motherfuck. At number 30, it's Shayna Baszler. She takes out a whole bunch of people. Xia Li, Tegan Knox, Zelina Vega, Shotzi Blackheart, and Carmella, and Toni Storm, and Naomi, who just made her way back into the ring using one of the parts of the announce table as a bridge. Your final 4 are Charlotte, Natalya, Beth Phoenix, and Shayna Baszler. Phoenix eliminates Natalya out of nowhere, kind of a payback from the previous Rumble match they were in. Baszler eliminates Phoenix. It's down to her and Charlotte, and after a little bit of fighting, Charlotte takes out Baszler to win the Rumble match. I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5. I think this was the weakest Women's Rumble match we've seen in the match's brief history. Small sample size, but I just think it didn't really get me going as much as the previous 2 did. There was good action in spurts, and I do appreciate some of the women they chose to put in the matchup. But, I think what's particularly deflating about this matchup isn't just Charlotte beating Shayna Baszler, but also beating Bianca Belair. 2 of the biggest performers in that matchup with about 8 eliminations apiece, both from NXT, and Charlotte takes them out single-handedly. It makes her look very strong, as if she needs that extra boost, as if she really needs the accomplishment. But, based on everything else we see tonight, if this is like the worst outcome we could have had, or the most negatively received outcome, I think we could take it. But, there was good, there were good moments throughout, but I don't know, this one, I didn't really feel this one. I think part of it has to do with just how overall weak this Rumble build for this match felt. Backstage, King Corbin talks smack about Roman Reigns and says he can't hide behind the Usos this time in the Rumble match. Smackdown Women's Championship match up next as Bayley defends against Lacey Evans. Bayley feigns a leg injury early on, so you get the jump on Lacey. She hits the elbow drop and Evans kicks out. Like, damn, a bit early for a finisher kick out, don't you think? Bayley looks to be talking trash to one particular fan as she gets her heat. I like that a lot, playing to one specific person, and that will help, kind of spread the heat around. Bayley mocks the troops before going for a crossbody, but misses. Lacey makes her comeback. Bayley cuts her off again, and then we fight near Lacey's kid. I need more interaction with her. Heel on that 7-year-old, damn it. Evans goes for the marrow salt, but Bayley gets the knees up. Roll up with the tights to win the match and retain. I give this one 2.5 stars out of 5. Not much special about this one. I did enjoy Bayley's heel work, and again, playing to the crowd, in a very kind of subtle way as she was doing it. Again, she got a solid match out of Lacey, but the fans didn't really care about this one. A strap match for the Universal Championship up next as Bray Wyatt defends against Daniel Bryan rocking his new eco-friendly t-shirt. We don't get the red lighting for this matchup, which is a welcome relief on the eyes. Daniel starts off hot, but then the Fiend hits a powerbomb out of the corner and gets to whipping. Evil laughter. They go to the outside, and Daniel uses the strap to pull Bray into the ring post repeatedly, but the Fiend fights back. He looks to do something to Daniel on the announce table when Daniel, he doesn't just take Bray to Dick Kick City, he's on the loop. He's on tour. Multiple Dick Kick Cities on the announce table. Now he's a strap-in. Kicks, whips, Bray wants more. Bryan gives him more. Bray catches Daniel in midair with his sister Abby and a kick out. Mandible claw. Daniel fights out and counters into the label lock with a strap assist around the mouth. What a great shot. What a look. The panic in Bray's eyes as he's getting that strap around his mouth. Eventually does break out of it though. Bryan with some knees. Bray pops up and no-sells some straps. Gets the claw locked back in and slams Bryan down for the pin. Bray wins and teleports away. Super effective. I give the match 4 stars out of 5. I dug the story. I like the pacing of this one. Daniel looks amazing in defeat here. He looks so damn strong and resilient and courageous at times. Bray gives him just enough to make you really think, give you the illusion that Bryan might win this one. But then he just kind of hits the switch and just kills the dream right then and there. Yeah, both guys looked good here. And again, not having that red lighting, the Virtual Boy vision, that was, again, a nice relief, and it made watching the match so much more enjoyable. Becky Lynch looks to collect one final debt as she defends the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. Some great back and forth here early on, and Jesus, Becky just drops Asuka face first onto the floor off the apron. These two are hitting hard and throwing each other hither and yon. Becky hits a rock bottom off the top rope. It's kind of a convoluted setup for the spot, and what makes it even worse is when they show a replay, you can see Becky count to 3 in one angle. Becky gets kicked and is knocked out. The referee takes a long time to determine if Becky is concussed and knocked out. So before, as he turns around to finally call it, Becky just jolts up and grabs him by the ankle and tells him not to call it. Gets kicked again and a kick out. Becky bumps into the referee. Asuka prepares for the mist. Becky kicks her in the stomach, and then Asuka throws her head back and sprays the mist, which is not the direction your head would go if you were kicked in the stomach. Disarm her by Becky, and Asuka taps. Becky finally clears that last hurdle. I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars out of 4. There were a couple of moments in this thing that almost took me out of it, like the kick and the way the referee reacted to it, not immediately calling the match after she looks to be totally knocked out. And also, again, just the way Asuka, if you're getting kicked in the stomach, most people sell inward. They go down with their face, not straight up. But you had to get the visual of the mist being thwarted and everything. Besides those two things, I think it was still very fine work between them. I think it was a solid match. Again, they really laid into each other here. They really made each other look very convincing, and Asuka looks very strong in defeat. She really takes Becky to the limit, and it's good to see Becky finally kind of get that monkey off her back and finally beat Asuka after a year of pursuing it. We see the Street Profits backstage, and Angelo Dawkins can beatbox now. Has he used this skill on TV before? What's also weird about it is he's humming the theme songs in different keys than the normal songs, so it's you almost can't tell what he's doing until Montez shouts the name out. In your main event, it's the men's Royal Rumble match. They do say on commentary that Rusev and Bobby Lashley had an off-air altercation backstage and they were both hurt, so they're both out of the Rumble match. So who will take their places? We are going to find out very soon. At number 1, it's the champion Brock Lesnar. At number 2, it's Elias, and holy shit, my 2K20 simulation on Friday actually called that happening. Elias sings a song about being a sacrificial lamb. Lesnar has enough and trips on the way out of the ring. As he runs out and beats down Elias, into the ring they go. Lesnar breaks Elias' his guitar over his back. That did not look gimmick to me. Lesnar eliminates Elias. Number 3 is Eric Rowan. He's out after 8 seconds. He lasted for far less time than Elias. And number 4, it's Robert Roode. He's gone. Number 5, John Morrison, and he's gone. Number 6 is Kofi Kingston. Hell yeah, let's go. Avenge your title loss, Kofi. He does last longer than he did the last time they actually wrestled. Number 7 is Rey Mysterio. Man, the ghost of Lesnar's past showing up here. Lesnar takes care of them both. And number 8 is Big E. The 3 guys go after Lesnar together. Trouble in Paradise, big ending, 619. He was staggered, according to Michael Cole, but Brock flicks all guys out of the ring. And number 9 is Cesaro, and he's gone. Number 10 is Shelton Benjamin, and hey, they're former Minnesota buddies. They hug it out. They agree to work together, but it's a trap. Lesnar takes him out and eliminates him. Number 11, Shinsuke Nakamura. A rematch from the New Japan days. Doesn't last very long as Shinsuke strikes first. Lesnar dumps him out. Number 12 is MVP wearing the Black Panther outfit. Very nice, very random surprise entrant here. He is eliminated fairly quickly as well, though. Number 13, Keith fucking Lee. Oh, big boy, Lesnar says. The two wear each other out. And by the way, Keith looks great here. It's a very fleeting moment, but his run with Lesnar, this one-on-one thing, makes him look like $1 million. In fact, he's got Lesnar kind of on the ropes at times, and just more momentum for the big man after he won the North American Championship last week on NXT. Now looking pretty good in this moment with the champion, Brock Lesnar, in the Rumble match. And number 14, it's Braun Strowman, and the big boy battle commences. Lesnar is able to German both guys repeatedly. Strowman and Lee fight, which allows Brock to dump them both out, and now he ties the elimination record. Number 15 is Ricochet. Number 16, Drew McIntyre. They stare down for a bit. Ricochet with Dick Kick City from behind. A Claymore. Lesnar is eliminated, and the crowd explodes. And you know what? That makes last week's Raw, where Ricochet is kicked in the dick by Brock Lesnar, totally worth it. It tells a perfect story in 1 week, and it comes back around to bite Lesnar in the ass. And the moment where he gets taken out is just, the crowd absolutely erupts. And in that one singular moment, even if Drew did nothing else the rest of the night, that moment made him a star instantly. It was a great way to set that up. Drew then hurls Ricochet out of the ring. Number 17 is The Miz. He's gone almost immediately after a Claymore. Drew keeps staring a hole through Lesnar every single chance he gets. Number 18, AJ Styles. They grapple for a bit. Number 19, Dolph Ziggler. Number 20, Carl Anderson, another OC member. Number 21 is Edge. Yes, the rumors were true. He's finally back in the ring after 9 friggin' years away after retiring, and it's so great to see him. Much like when Lesnar got eliminated, Edge, just the pop for him in his return was absolutely insane. Probably one of the most emotional moments. You see it in Edge's eyes when he's on stage there, and that just tells the story, and how awesome he must be feeling to be back in the ring, and how happy the fans were. That was just an electric, goosebumps-inducing moment, to be sure. He throws spears aplenty. At number 22, it's King Corbin. Edge eliminates AJ Styles, who apparently got hurt either in the elimination or beforehand. I hope he gets better. Number 23 is Matt Riddle. Well, don't get too excited because he's thrown out pretty soon after by Corbin, and that tells you all you need to know. Between Charlotte taking out Baszler and Bianca Belair in the women's match, and Corbin taking out Matt Riddle, who's one of the fan favorites in such short order, that really tells you all you need to know about how the NXT and main roster dynamic is and what the favoritism is like from the upper brass in that company. At number 24 is Luke Gallows. McIntyre eliminates Baron Corbin. Number 25 is Randy Orton, and Team Rated RKO reunite to eliminate the OC. Number 26 is the big dog, Roman Reigns. He takes out Ziggler. Kevin Owens at number 27. He hits Roman with a stunner. Number 28, Ali Black. He takes Fools down. Number 29 is Samoa Joe, and he and KO have a friendly fight. And at number 30, it's Seth Rollins and the Messiah Maniacs. For the next several minutes, Seth takes out Aleister Black, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe after a lot of assistance by his cronies. Then the men who have been wronged beat up AOP and Murphy, and they all brawl to the back, leaving Rollins on his own as Roman, Edge, Orton, and Drew surround him. They all beat him up. Drew eliminates Seth. They are now the final 4. 3 former Rumble winners and Drew. Rated RKO work together against the other 2. Double RKO to McIntyre. Edge catches Randy getting ready to betray him with an RKO. He waits for Orton to turn around, then hauls him out. Edge hits Roman with a spear, then Roman dumps Edge out off the apron. We're down to Roman and Drew. We get a Claymore. Drew eliminates Roman and wins the Royal Rumble match. And by the way, Roman is now a 4-time runner-up. What a unfortunate statistic to have for Roman. You know what? I'm going to give this one 5 stars stars out of 5. This is just a real feel-good Rumble match. And the two big story arcs, obviously, are Lesnar's dominance in the first half, and then Drew McIntyre taking him out and then winning the whole thing, the arrival of Drew McIntyre. But I was surprised at how many other little stories they were able to weave in this thing as well. I mean, just in the Lesnar chapter alone, you saw him like revisiting some old rivals, some old story arcs, making some new ones as well. You also saw Edge coming back, which is a huge, really feel-good moment there. Rated RKO coming back together for a little bit. Seth and his guys versus Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Just a really stacked Rumble, and I think, it was a very well paced. It really, again, told great stories, told a lot of good stories. I always kind of judge the quality of Rumble matches based on how much they're able to get across and advance in the match itself, and we saw a lot being addressed in this matchup here. And I think the right guy won. I think Drew McIntyre winning was huge. I liken Drew's win here to a sports team getting really hot near the end of the regular season into the playoffs. And they go on a real big tear, and it gets them in a good position for a championship matchup because he's gaining more and more support with the fans. I think he's finally finding a character and a personality, the way he's expressing it, to really work for him, and it gets over. Like I said, what he's doing now with his babyface character or his kind of tweener character, I think it's being really well done, and it's very entertaining. So like I said, they're striking while the iron's hot. He's getting all the right momentum at this point. So he's in the right place, right time. And what a great redemption story for Drew as well, to come back after being fired years ago, works his ass off after being exiled to the Indies, to come back and just make something of himself. And now he's finally getting that shot. And it's only going to get more exciting as we head to WrestleMania. So yeah, it was a well done match, and the right guy won. What more can you ask for? My final grade for the 2020 Royal Rumble is a B-. For me, the four biggest highlights for the show were both the Rumble matches, the Universal title match, and the Raw Women's title match. I think the men's Rumble match, above all that, kicked all sorts of ass. The Charlotte winning the Women's Rumble was a bit deflating, like I said, but again, comparing it to the rest of the show and just how everything's felt right with this show for the most part. Most of the matches had, pretty exciting finishes, felt good about it, and so, we can't expect to get everything we want in a show like this. Again, the men's Rumble was great. I think Edge come back. The two biggest moments, Edge coming back, Lesnar being eliminated by Drew, and the final kind of welcome for him. Those, you can't replicate the feeling and the elation that happened in those moments in the match. Still a lot of questions surrounding where feuds are going to go for Mania, but the two of the biggest questions were answered on Sunday, and really, needless to say, Sunday was a really hard day for a lot of people all over the world in the wake of Kobe's death. And if this show could shine a little bit of light and provide a little bit of escape in the wake of this unbelievable tragedy, no one wants to see what the Bryants are going through right now. But if wrestling can provide a little bit of escape for the fans who are affected by this, then you know what? I think that this show did its job for the most part. But let me know what you thought about the show in the comments section below. Give it a letter grade by going to the iCard in the corner of your screen. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.